Hello, Miss Ashford here. I would like to outline my process for creating and delivering instruction for a small group of fourth grade students. I've decided to use the Universal Design for Learning, or UDL framework, as the primary support system because these students exhibit significant variability in their learning profiles. Our group includes Ryan, who has Down syndrome and functions within the moderate range, Siobhan, who has a mild cognitive impairment, Zoshil, who has recently been diagnosed with dyslexia, and Russell, who has an emotional behavioral disorder but is performing at grade level. By implementing the UDL framework, we can proactively plan for their learner variability. This approach allows us to provide multiple means of engagement, representation, and expression during instruction, rather than retrofitting accommodations after the instructional design has been created. Consequently, all students will have access to high-quality, grade-level instruction as UDL aims to support all learners to the fullest extent possible. To encourage higher-level thinking among my students, I will use a problem-based physics activity that aligns with grade-level standards. The guiding question for this activity will be, how can we create a garden that will thrive regardless of the weather conditions? Students will then explore various types of weather patterns, examine which plants grow best in different weather conditions, and they will also create a model of a garden that reflects their understanding of both plant growth and the specific weather requirements for those plants. After completing their model gardens, students will defend their design choices. This approach encourages higher order thinking by prompting students to analyze, evaluate, and create rather than just recall facts. So, to meet the needs of diverse needs of students during this activity, I will differentiate methods of access while maintaining the same core objective. For example, Ryan will sort images of plants based on their sunlight and water requirements and will build part of the model with visual aids. Siobhan will explain her decisions using a structured sentence frame. Zoshil will receive audio support for the text and an advanced preview of vocabulary. Russell will then enhance student engagement by taking on a structured leadership or materials role to reduce frustration and increase participation in the activity. I will implement two specific strategies and accommodations during this activity. To begin, I will incorporate visual supports and graphic organizers. This will include visual schedules, step-by-step task cards, and a structured planner for the garden layout. Using visual scaffolding helps reduce cognitive overload and promotes independence, particularly for students with intellectual disabilities or dyslexia. This approach will also benefit Russell by providing predictable expectations. Next, I will employ explicit instruction through chunking and regular check-ins. I will model each step of the task, break tasks into smaller segments, and provide guided practice before moving on to the next step. Research strongly supports the effectiveness of explicit instruction in helping students with disabilities improve. This method will not only assist Zoshil with processing and decoding, but will also prevent Russell from feeling overwhelmed by tasks. Additionally, I have planned pre-corrections and including access to a calming strategy as a part of Russell's behavior support plan. If the activity takes place in an online or hybrid format, UDL will help inform the planning process, although the delivery methods will differ. I would also use breakout rooms for small group scaffolding and provide digital checklists in place of paper task cards for students to reference after using the digital task cards. I will also record instructions for each task so that each student can revisit the instructions until they fully understand what to do. For Ryan, I will offer interactive drag and drop visuals instead of physical manipulatives. I would also like to tier my students based on their ability level. So I will change the depth of the explanation rather than changing the task. All of my students will be working with the same essential question. However, they will have different expectations when providing justification, whether that be verbal or written. I will also use two different types of technology when supporting the students. The first will be Google Slides and the second will be text-to-speech. Once students have created Google Slides collaboratively, they will have access to visuals, graphics, and sentence frames and the ability to create a presentation with Google Slides. All of this can be done using one platform in order to promote engagement and differentiation at the same time. Text-to-speech is an excellent resource for students with dyslexia. It allows students to have the text read to them so that they can focus on other areas without having to decode the text, thus increasing independence without lowering the level of rigor. With the UDL framework, we can provide students with high expectations while also offering flexibility, structure, and access from the beginning with timely scaffolding, explicit instruction, and supports through technology that promote high-order thinking, but yet meet diverse academic and behavioral needs. Thank you so much for collaborating with me on this instruction plan. Talk soon.